Oh, I'm on a beautiful farm. Amazing, 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 gorgeous farm. Like, I'm thinking, what have I been doing? Living my life in the cities when I could have been living in nature like this. My goodness, it is amazing. Welcome, y'all. Tonight's topic for those who are watching later. Oh, I kind of dropped it a little late. I need to get better at letting people know things beforehand. But I'm working on it. I think by next week, maybe 2 weeks time, you'll see like I'm much more organized in these things. So sex, politics, and spirituality. Can they go together? Or are they like irreconcilable differences? They have to get a divorce or some couples. It's like that means I can't anymore. That's what that means. Whenever I read it, that's what I'm saying. That's what I irreconcilable differences. I'm like, well, yeah, there's like I can't anymore. I'm done. So is this how we're gonna treat sexuality, politics, and spirituality? I don't think so. I think not. I feel it's time for us to really, really realize there's nothing else going on the planet in the first place. When you look at nature, all these beautiful birds, plants, bees buzzing. What do you think they're doing? Huh? The typical purists will be like, "Oh, it's just colorful nature." I'm like, no, life is happening. Sex is happening all around us, and those who deny this truth, who deny this fact, are the ones that become perverted. Because what? Guess what? That energy that's supposed to be flowing in the right direction, moving in the, in the way of nature, they start getting poisoned. That's just how things work. You either allow things to go in the direction of existence, or it atrophies or causes pestilence. That's how it works. Right? Energy has to flow. Now, politics, right? Everybody is talking about politics these days. Some people are trying to avoid it. Some people don't want to talk about it. But as far as I'm concerned, if one was to be really human, honest with oneself, this is just my perspective, right? If one was to be truly honest with oneself and say, look, do I become political or do I just remain spiritual? Or either do I just get political or I'm not spiritual? People think they have to make a choice. And as far as I see life, I see anybody who thinks they can make a choice between true political life. I'm not talking about just voting. I'm talking about engaging in the political discussion and playing one's part in it, whether small, minute, or big, doesn't matter. If anybody in the name of spirituality thinks that they can avoid that, to me, I would ask such a person that, are you talking about just kind of religion? Or are you talking about spirituality? Because for me, they're two different things. Religion, to me, just to define it so that people don't get mad at me and say, you're talking about my religion. Let me just define what I call religion, okay? Religion to me is what I call the way of the follower. In a way, you follow somebody. That's what I call religion. Whatever religion you like, you can choose. Make a choice. Pick a choice. They're all beautiful in my view. I don't discriminate. I tell people I go to mosque, go to temple, synagogue. To me, they're all one. But I don't seek truth in these places personally. I don't. To me, these places are places where you follow a God. Again, let me clarify it, okay? Because some people, how you doing, Desmond? What's up, Daniel? Let me just clarify, because I don't want anybody to be offended that I'm against any religion. No, I'm not even against Christianity, Islam. They're all beautiful to me. They are all one as far as I see it. What I'm saying, though, is there's something about just being religious or being spiritual. Again, one can be both. That's why, to me, both are beautiful. When one is being religious is when, for example, maybe you go to nature, you kind of communing, you're kind of being spiritual, but also being religious. What do I mean by you're being both? Religion always has to do with a kind of, almost like it's very hard to talk about religion and not put people on a pedestal. It comes with religion. Religion, in its essence, is putting some God or deity on a pedestal. It's just the way it works. That's why I'm not against it. As long as people realize that religion is a pointer. It's a pointer. It's meant to be a pointer. The finger pointing to the moon of true spirituality. And what is true spirituality, in my view? It is in the now. As long as you're in the now, you are spiritual. It has to, hey, how you doing, Anna? Hey, love. Yes, it has nothing to do with your religious beliefs, in my view. That's why I think they can coexist. Of course, as one becomes more spiritual, the idea of being religious begins to diminish. Why? Because you become a knower. Somebody who knows. You can't call that religion anymore. You've become a spiritual person. Now you know your spirit. Now you know your soul. So that transcends any kind of idea of what it is to be religious. Again, I'm not disparaging any religion. I feel that religions become obsolete and they start fucking up when they start pretending to be the truth. That's when they make mistakes. As long as they know their place and they say, oh, we just pointed to the truth, then everything works out. But when religions begin to become imposters and they start saying this is the truth, that's when I think they start destroying the planet. They start causing wars. Because now you're saying you are the truth. No, just say this is a finger pointing at the moon of truth. So that having defined this, now I'm going to say, of course, sex, spirituality, and politics are one. As long as one exists as a human being, as I see life, you are under obligation to take part in the political process. Honestly, this is my view, and I'm going to stick to this. And I know there are people that will disagree with me, but I don't care. Because to me, if you're on this planet Earth and you're not taking part in what's happening in the political world, how can you say you're fully? I'm not saying everybody should go into politics, but a little bit of interest has to be there. Otherwise, that's what I feel has happened today in the world. People who are just politically interested, they're in politics. People who are just spiritual. I mean, and when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about spiritual ego, like, oh, I'm spiritual. No, I'm talking about every moment. Whenever you're truly here in the moment in your heart is open, you're spiritual. Anything else, in my view, is just ego. As far as I see it, it's just ego. To say I'm spiritual, you're not spiritual. I mean, who's not spiritual? Everybody's spirit, ultimately. But as long as you're in the now in your heart, you're spiritual. That's it. So how can that not have anything to do with sex and politics? Because that means the politics. Okay, let me just clarify what I mean by politics, for example. I think that's time to do that. That people don't think politics is just about this or that. Let me just clarify so that you can say a little more about that. Politics to me, it means a way of choosing together the direction of a society. Okay, I'll answer that question, Patricia. So politics in a way is like saying, oh, this community, for example, you say, guys, let's get together, men and women, of course, and I don't like the hierarchical nonsense. It should be like a round table. The round tables to me are much more beautiful because everybody's is equal. It's like a bead. Everybody plays a role, like a bee colony, sort of. Everybody it's important. The idea of pyramid begins to corrupt people because everybody on top begins to feel like they're better than the people beneath. No, a circle, in my view, is much more appropriate. Or you can put the pyramid inside the circle, which is actually perfection in my view, because then you honor the masculine, but you put it inside the circle. That means you're humbling the masculine, telling it, look, you have to serve the whole. No matter how much you think you're on top, you got to participate in the whole process. That participation is what I call politics. If you say, oh, I don't care what's happening in this community, I'm not going to vote or choose the leader. So I'm going to say now, you dare not complain if things don't go your way then. Again, it's a legitimate choice to say, I'm not going to participate. But then you forever have forsaken your right to ever complain. Why? I mean, you said you don't want to take part. Yeah, life respects freedom, of course. Life doesn't force anybody. But once you choose that you're not going to take part, you force, because it's like a coin with two sides. You can't have one-sided coin. That's not a coin. That's something else. A coin has two sides. You can't say, oh, I'm not going to participate in politics. And when things don't go your way, then you're saying, oh, poor me. Well, you didn't participate. So deal with the consequence. And that's what I would boldly tell a lot of my friends. If you have not participated in politics and you say you're spiritual, well, whatever happens in life, then you can't complain. Just say, you know what? I'm spiritual. If somebody kills me, let them kill me. That's fine. To me, that's legitimate. But you can't say, oh, how come I'm spiritual? This is happening to me. Well, you're not participating. That means you're giving up on life. So, okay, that's fine. You have that right. But don't complain then. And that's why now I'm telling all my friends, like, it's time to take a stand. Time to take a stand. And I'm going to talk about that very soon. But let me answer Patricia before I forget. What if you're having more sex than we don't have time to focus on politics? Good question. I love you, dear sister. We're having too much sex and you don't have time to do with politics. Honestly, everybody's unique, right? Some people are more sexual. Let's just be honest. Not everybody has the same level of sexual interest. It's a fact. Let's stop this guilting of people into saying, well, you're just too horny. No, it's not possible to be too horny. That means you have more energy, pure energy. And haters will be jealous. It's just a matter of teaching that person how to cultivate that energy. If anybody ever tells you have too much sexual energy, they either don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or they're judging you, or they're telling you, not in a direct way, saying they're jealous, or they're telling you if they're really, like a teacher, a guide, that you need to find a way to cultivate that energy. It can never be too much. It's like saying there's too much energy in the universe. No, the more potential sexual energy you have, the more you can awake, the faster, the easier, the smoother, because you have the whole volcano on your side. A small volcano would take 1,000 years to explode. And what is awakening if not explosion? If you have more lava flowing underneath, the explosion will happen very soon. But if you have just a mediocre level of stuff flowing little by little, somebody's going to have to come and help that person to dig it up. Otherwise, it's like it's not flowing. But when it's boiling, yes. Unfortunately, in this world now, all the sacred mystery schools, where people were taught how to cultivate their sexual energy, they've either gone underground or they've gone bankrupt, because the society does not support these organizations. They call them perverted. And I'm saying these are the real mystery schools in my view. That's why I'm creating an online course that's going to come out October 3rd regarding this. Because as many people that are interested, I'm like, look, if you want to know about this, take this online course. And hopefully, after all this COVID shit goes away, I can travel and actually teach these workshops throughout the world, hopefully. Because it's time to release this mystery school sciences. Part of what I notice is going on the planet right now is people have forgotten how to make love. People have forgotten. I'm not saying people are not having sex, but sex and making love are two entirely different things. Sex is easy. You just have to have a little blood going in there, right? A little titillation, then you're on. But making love, that requires tremendous energy. Incredible energy. That's why typically people talk about celibacy. But I disagree with celibacy personally, but that's just me. I mean, one can be celibate because your partner is not with you, they're in jail, all that stuff, or they're not around, they haven't traveled, they're not around. I support that. But if you are in couplehood, like you're with somebody and you say you want to be celibate, I'm like, come on now. Oh, really? Because that energy, if two people can cultivate that energy together, or four, because I don't judge, I teach all kinds of people this, couples, polyamorous, it doesn't matter. Okay, so as long as this energy is just sitting in people dormant, that's what makes people miserable. Honestly, if somebody was to ask me what is misery, I would say dormant sexual energy. Absolutely. You can't. You may be a little sad, yes. But when sexual energy begins to move, it moves up, the whole energy field is activated. That's it. You may have moments of a little sadness, dullness, but most times you'll be blissful, or at least at peace. Because that sexual energy is what becomes peace. Guaranteed. This is simple arithmetic. The root, if you want to create a big bonfire, supposedly, who knows, maybe it's just bullshit, the Beirut explosion. I don't trust it, but let's just go with the official story, right? Because it's always bullshit on TV. The amount of energy required to blast that is less would have done less, whatever you want to call it. They're using it in the negative way, right? We're trying to use this in the positive, powerful way. So yes, sex, politics, and religion, spirituality, can they go together? I say hell yeah, or heaven yes. Why not? But I would not probably combine religion and politics together. That's where I think the wisdom of our forefathers, the American forefathers, are. Don't trust a religious man with political power. That's where I would agree. But spirituality, yes, not religion. Because the average religious person is basically, and forgive me for those who are religious, it's a little fascist. The average, not the highest. The average was a fascist. Once they get power, they're going to start going after their enemies. The neighbors that they used to party with, having fun, suddenly you give that asshole motherfucker, that power. Now they start saying, oh guys, it's about time, you know we are right. We know we are right. And the other say, no, we are right, before they start killing each other. So I will not trust a religious man with political power. That's where I think a lot of countries have died, civilizations have collapsed. The moment you allow the priest class the political power, they will destroy sooner than later, because sooner than later they become fascist. You can see this all over the world. Give the priests some power, they start tripping. Look at the Buddhists. When Buddha was alive, Buddhism was so high, so extensive throughout Asia. And guess what now? You don't see, in fact, a lot of people don't even know the Buddha was Indian. People think it's Chinese, because you rarely see the Indian image of the Buddha. Because as soon as they died, the freaking priest class, I'm not going to say their name, people are going to call me, but it's a fact. They began to kill the Buddhist priests overnight. They had to run to China. They had to run to other places. That's the thing. That's why, to me, I will always separate religions from power. No, you can't combine it. The moment you combine it, oh my goodness, before you know it's going to be a so-called theocracy. I don't call that a theocracy personally. Because to me, a true theocracy is not wrong. Theo is God. It's existence. That's theo. Somebody who really is using logos to study the universe is what I call the ideal priest. But the ones I speak about are not the ideal priest. A true priest is a theologian. That means you are using your logos, your intelligence, your logic, your heart to have. Limited. You know it's going to be limited, because only a mystic can really know truth. But as much as possible, trying to understand existence. Astrology was designed by the priest class. Stuff like that, I'm totally for it. You can't be fascist, because you see there are so many planets in it. So many planets and universes. How can one only be the truth? You know better than that. A true theologian. I'm talking about the pseudo-theologians. The ones that really only care about war and violence. Those ones are the ones that want to say this is the only way. Otherwise, a true theologian, logos, logic, hello. The idea of logos itself means light. And light will see all aspects of truth. That's why people that disagree with me, I'm like, come, let's talk. Because truth is like light. And there are many aspects of it. When you shine light in a room, do you see the whole room, or you can see pockets of it? And each person that's seeing it through the light is saying, oh, this is the truth. But the truth is they're looking at the truth through their own version of light, through that light. And that light reflects in different ways. You might see that is why religions make mistakes. As soon as the founder of the religion dies, he goes to hell, starts going to hell, because the priesthood, and who are these priesthood, often are the intellectuals. I'm just going to go direct and speak about this. Because, priests, people think the priests always have to have a robe. No. I have seen many priests and priestesses who have no robes, but they are worse than the priests. They are basically functioning as a priest class. They're the ones that say, this is what psychology is. This is what philosophy. This is what... They're acting like priests. But they may have PhDs. So you're like, oh, it's an intellectual. No, that's a priest. Priests are always fascists. Well, sorry, not true. Not always fascists. But this kind of priests, the ones who say this is the way. That is why I always want to separate religion from politics. But spirituality is life. You can't separate spirituality from anything. It's life. Every moment you are alive, whenever you're breathing and you're present, you are being spiritual, you are being current. Okay, let me answer you, Patricia. You're asking really beautiful questions. Yeah, so earlier, I don't think I really did justice to that question. Connect on somebody having sex and politics. Look, he or she who knows how to make love will ideally normally be political. Why? Because when you make love, not sex, I'm talking about love making, your heart opens. And when your heart opens, you want to serve. If your heart is not open, you cannot truly serve. It's just a fact. He or she whose heart is not open cannot serve. They may think they're serving, but their ego is going to be involved. They're going to want credit more than everybody else. They won't let you forget everything they contributed. Sometimes when people want to help me, I'm a little hesitant. I'm like, oh goodness, is this worth it? Because you're looking at the person, they're so heavy, energetically. I'm like, they're going to be demanding my whole... I'm like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'm good. They're like, why? I'm good. Because it's like owing a freaking, somebody that wants £1 for whatever they flesh for. It's like, I'm good. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So yes, when somebody is making love, I will call it love making as opposed to just sex. Sex is not bad, but it's limited. That's all. And I'm not against anything. It's just call a spade a spade. Not just a spade, but a fucking spade. Sex is sex. It just means you're fucking. Let's keep it real. Simple. Love making means you are connecting the sacral chakra to the heart center. That's love making. You're literally making love. You're creating the energy of love. Simple arithmetic. When you bring the lower energy to the higher center, you are creating energy. It's alchemy. Hello? They make it look like it's something so strange. You have to fast. Everybody wants to be on top of the other. Another one say, oh, you have to do this and make it so difficult. I'm like, no, forget that shit. No, just come to the present moment. That's why this course I'm designing, I'm going to unleash it October 3rd. I hope a lot of people sign up for it because I'm going to release some truth bombs about all the sexual stuff that's been kept secret by the mystery schools for too fucking long. Let's blow this up. Let's expose it. Why? What is the secret? Why so much secret? It's too much. Because a humanity that has forgotten how to make love will make war. It's a law. Come on. Anybody want to disagree with that? If you don't make love, you're going to make war. The energy has to do something. So part of what I see as part of the misery of the collective of humanity is human beings have been cut off from knowing what is true love, what's true pleasure. A child from a young age, whenever he or she starts touching herself, they say, oh, don't do that. You know what you're telling that child? You're saying what feels good is bad. So somebody like that is poison like that, say what feels good is right, and they become an asshole, and then you're saying you want to throw them in jail. Society is responsible for that shit. Because how do you learn what feels good but by your own body, your own self? How do you know what feels good? When it feels good in your body. That's why all those pedophiles that want to manipulate people, they always abuse. Why? Because they find a way to connect pain with pleasure. That's how you make a psychopath. So we're creating little psychopaths, then you wonder why the world is full of so many little assholes. No, we have to encourage our children. People like, oh, if it feels good, go in that direction. That's part of tantric philosophy. Because what feels good to me, then I know how to treat somebody else. It's so simple. Oh, that doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do that. But if you don't know, if you've been cut off from what feels good in your body, then you begin to enjoy torture. Don't agree with me. This is just quite logic. This is logical. If somebody is trained, that's what it means to be insensitive. We can no longer, yeah, of course, Jennifer. Yeah, absolutely. So let me answer Patricia's question again. I hope I'm doing justice to your question, Patricia, because that's a very important topic to me. People who are making love should also be empowered because only a lover can truly rule. He or she, when I say lover, I mean somebody whose heart is open. Otherwise, if somebody is too, in fact, back in ancient, for those who want to be a little crazy with me, ancient Atlantis, ancient Egypt, of years, they never allowed people who wanted power to rule. Somebody who wants it, don't give it to them. Because they're going to fuck up. Because somehow the power will somehow bite. They will start doing some fucked up things sooner than later. But he or she who's reluctant, who says, I just want to serve. Heart open. Aha. Those people say, okay, you are not going into politics. You're going to be a speaker because you don't want power. Power should go to those who don't really care about it because they are the ones that can wield it correctly. But then we give it to this, like in Nigeria, Africa, where I'm from, sometimes I just laugh my ass. People vote for the businessman. I have nothing against businessmen, but I will never elect a businessman to office personally, never. Because the very idea of business is profit. And some businessmen can do it, but very rare. Because nothing wrong with being a businessman. It's an archetype, but you are in it for yourself and your family and your corporation. The statehood, ruling a state or a kingdom, about self-interest. That's what I call true politics. It's not about self-interest. Make money, the wrong field. It's money. I love money, but go in the right field. You'll be good, of course. But people go into politics for the wrong reason, and then they fuck up for fame, for applause. And sometimes it's not even noticed. They don't know it. That's the problem. They think they're going for the real deal. I say everybody they should have a little few years, or better still meditation. At least a few years to clean the unconscious a little. The subconscious, and later it will, guaranteed. All the unresolved stuff will start coming up because now you got the power. Anybody can talk shit about being good and being saintly. Give him power. You start saying that hidden asshole coming out. I see this all the time. Petty tyrants all over the place. I'm not going to say, but I'm at the place. They have a little power and then they complain about Trump. I'm like, how dare you? You would do worse than that man over there if you had that kind of power. Relax. I'm not condoning anything he says. I'm not a Trump supporter necessarily. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're quick to judge. Power. People talk about, oh, I would never do that. Oh, really? Okay. No, love to me is the criteria. The bigger the heart is, then we can start. Otherwise, people, power. Somebody once said, a wise man said, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Of course. Absolutely. It would. Honestly, just to be honest, I wouldn't even trust myself to become US president. I wouldn't trust myself to, just to be honest, to put it on the table right there. I wouldn't trust myself to be the US president. It's easy. Suddenly, goes those people. Let's just get rid. Let's push them aside. I mean, of course, you mean well, right? Because you know you have a good heart, you want to help. But to me, freedom is absolute. Absolute. I don't compromise it. To me, yes, we can discuss with each other, but each side has to feel free. If somebody stops feeling free, that's not they should leave the table. True discussion can only come between two free beings. If somebody is going to lose a lot, that's not a negotiation. That's a joke. Because the person is shivering in their pants, underwear. They're probably peeing on themselves. And they say, oh, yeah, we got what we wanted. Of course you didn't get what you want. You made a decision out of fear. That's why when people talk about I'm helping us, black people, I'm like, no, assist us. Come on. Because otherwise people, somebody who's a mouse, come on, lions, yes. It's better to be a free lion because you have the power, but yet you choose to use it widely. Otherwise, if you're weak, it's a kind of, what kind of freedom is that? Can be taken over anytime. That's why, as far as I'm concerned, everybody knows where I stand, and I don't lie about things. I just keep it real. Everybody knows where I stand. Anybody who wants to keep me alive and take my freedom, I'm like, fuck you. That's just the way I stand. I'm not saying I'm right. To me, I wouldn't even think about it. Fuck you. And people might say that's not spiritual. I don't really give a shit. Somebody comes and say, you can be alive, but I'm going to take your freedom. I'm like, no, it's not, because it's not worth it, in my view. What kind of be in jail and be healthy in jail? That's basically what it is. No, fuck you. But some people, okay, again, I'm not judging. It is what it is. No, you got to keep an eye on these motherfuckers. Because that's how they come to you. The Florence Nightingales, I mean, I love Florence Nightingale, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about this kind of people. They come to you, it's for your own good. We're going to take over your house and your room. How do you think the Nazis took over the whole Germany? You think they went there with guns all the time? Sometimes they went there charming. We're going to, your house, you have to let, before you know it, they don't want to move out. You're like, I thought you only came temporarily. They're like, wow. So you thought we were going to leave? You're like, oh shit. But it's too late, but they already put their cobwebs in your house. They already have secret caves in your house. Like even they could come and live there, you wouldn't even know. And people call that freedom. I'm like, no, that's just my stand. I don't like to I like to talk straight. That's my way. I had some of the best teachers in the world and they all talk straight. So again, I'm not saying that we all have the same political ideas, me and my teachers, but I was taught by the best. So I'm direct, keep it real, just boom. So that's what I feel like a religion. You're with me, Jennifer, of course. I mean, I'm speaking heart language. Of course, heart, yeah. I don't think touching myself is bad. And of course, please go ahead and touch yourself, sister. In fact, I'm just going to say a little bit about it right now. Because I don't really care what people think. So I'm just going to talk about that. What kind of spiritual teacher talks about masturbation? I don't care. We're just going to talk about this because it's part of life. People right now, I'm pretty sure they're masturbating as hell. Because, I mean, this blockade, I call it sometimes. We call it I call it the blockade. I feel like part of it is to disconnect people from their sexuality. So a lot of people are home by themselves. What do you think they're doing? I'm pretty sure they're masturbating. I mean, luckily I have the privilege to be a teacher, so a lot of people tell me things. I'm not going to mention them, but people tell me stuff. Masturbating. What do you think they're going to do? So let's just talk about it. There's a method for people that like to masturbate. Again, I don't think it's the best. Like I always speak truth because you're working only with your own energy, and which is fine. But in my view, it's not as explosive as having somebody with you, have your lover. But if you don't have a lover, what to do? Something's better than nothing. As long as one can breathe correctly into the belly, into the heart center, you can go ahead and make love as much as you want, or even masturbate. Just know how to pull the energy up. How do you pull it up? It's going to be in this course I'm designing. I'm going to launch October 3rd. Just pull it up. Just breathe. People are too much in a hurry. Just breathe into your heart. Just a little teaser so that people don't say, oh, otherwise just teasing. Let me just give a little example of it so that people, just like a teaser of what's going to be talked about in the online course and in subsequent live courses. You see, the reason why people, when they have sex or they masturbate, whatever, they feel low or whatever, is because they lose too much energy. Whenever energy is lost, you will feel sad. It's just the way it works. Sorry. It's just the way it works. When you lose energy, you're going to feel sad. It's like a water vessel that is dry. It's going to feel dry. That dryness is what I call depression. When there's no juice flowing through the system, through the energy body, of course you're going to be sad. It's just the way it is. It's not that hard science. So if one wants to masturbate because they don't have a choice, I mean, since like I said, better to have 2 or 3. If you're by yourself, then go ahead. Touch yourself, breathe inside in rhythm. Rhythm is very important. That's why I said dancers, not to make love the best. If somebody can dance, I always doubt whether they can be good love maker, because it's a dance between 2 people, or more if you're poly. But it's a dance. You have to know how to dance. The flow, the rhythm of life. You got to know how to flow with the rhythm. So when you're masturbating, just keep breathing, but try to make sure it's very rhythmic. If it goes out of rhythm, it will mess up your energy body. And what I mean by mess up your energy body, it means the energy body will suddenly shrink, and then the energy is squeezed out. People call that sex. No, it's just a squeezing out of energy, like a sneeze. No, as opposed to true tantra means you don't have to breathe in. You breathe in. And breathing in, people think, breathe. That's why personally, and I'm going to say it again, I'm against the mask, because for me, it's in the way of life. People say you are being kind. Again, forgive me if you believe in it. Like I said, I'm always straight. If you don't breathe in prana, sooner than later, you're going to die. So if you have to wear, I wear it sometimes, but I limit it, because to me, as a mystic, I don't compromise that. That's where I draw the line. I don't mind compromising with people. I love everybody. Anybody that's ever lived with me or been around me, they know I'm not perfect, but I'm not the worst guy you're going to meet on the planet, right? So I'm not, but I draw the line. I'm going to breathe. And don't tell me that as a black man, I got to wear some poster on my mouth and say I can't breathe. No, fuck you. That's a bad spell. I'm not going to participate in your negative magic with you. No, I can breathe, and I will breathe. Every human should say that right now. If you haven't said it, say it to yourself right now loudly. I can breathe. Say it with me. Take a deep breath. Say, I can breathe. Say it over and over again. I know I can't hear you, but say it to yourself. I can. To breathe is to inhale the prana of the universe. If you're going to wear the mask, wear it. I'm not against it. I love you still. Again, I have friends that love it. I'm just saying, but take opportunities to go into nature and take it off, please. From time to time, and just breathe. I was in nature today. Oh, my goodness. Goodness sake. Nature. No, please don't wear a mask in nature if possible, unless you're hiking. Again, do whatever you can, but take it off, please, if you can, in nature. Just breathe. And when you are playing with yourself, keep breathing deeply. This is not something that is so hard as some of the tantric teachers like to make it, or gurus like to make it. It's very simple. All it requires is trust and courage. Trust yourself. Trust your own energy. If you don't trust your own energy or your partner's energy, it limits how much that can be done. Trust yourself. Know your energy is pure. Anybody that say energy is negative, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Energy is just like energy. It's neither negative nor positive. Depends on what you do with it. It's neutral, just like energy. Some people talk about Kundalini energy, whatever you want to call it. I just call it energy. Why are you dividing it? Just say energy. That's my own relatedness to life. Some people are against the Kundalini, some people are for it. To me, it's like, I don't even discriminate. To me, it's just energy. And energy, if you really play with it with love or openness, it will take you home, because it's like a ride. But if you make enemies with it, like the priests have done to many humans, they poison it. They tell them, oh, it's something only for pregnancy, only something. Okay, some questions are coming in. Okay, let me pay attention to this question. Yeah. If you listen to this negative magi that are people call the priests, telling people, oh, sex, you just have to keep it under. No, fuck them. Fuck them. Well, they might like that. Okay, just ignore them, I should say. Because that's probably what they need. All their stupid celibacy teachings. They can go to hell with that shit. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Nobody can be celibate. I say it with my authority. Yes, nobody can be celibate. People are going to say, oh, yes, nobody can be celibate. If you are holding energy, you will release during your dreams. You may not know it. You will have sex, what kind of spirit, if you're not careful. It's very difficult because, like I said, we're human. We have a lot of sexual energy. So that's why I tell people, if you don't have a partner, masturbate. Don't feel bad about it. Do you. Do you. Make sure you satisfy and move that energy around. Otherwise, people get perverted. They start having all kinds of weird dreams. They start having, it's called the spiritual lovers. Imaginary lovers in the sky. They make love to Krishna. I'm like, good luck. I hope you're making love to Krishna. Not some demon pretending to be Krishna. Because a lot of those people that say they're making love to Krishna or Jesus, they're full of shit. Probably some kind of demon somewhere having fun, looking like their favorite deity. That happens more than people realize. That happens more than people realize. Because that energy, they can see it. And they'll say, oh, let's go fuck with her or him. So, again, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just keeping shit real. As I see the spiritual universe from my own awakening experiences, all I share is always from my own experience. Method is learning your body and quiet and breath and focus on chakra. Yeah, there are many methods, Patricia. Some people, see, I'm just going to touch on this really quickly, but I'm not going to say astral hookers. Yeah. I'm not going to say too much on it but it's something that maybe in the future I'm going to make videos. Y'all can text me and remind me about this because I want to talk more about this. The chakra thing or no chakra. So there are many ways to wake up. Chakra is not the only way. People think it's the only way. No. And I say that from experience because I've tried both. I've done both. And if you allow me to be a little boastful, I've mastered both. So I teach both personally because they're two different things. Yes, you don't have to go through the chakra method. In fact, if one is ready, it's better to actually, I use that word, I don't care. People might judge me for that. Go through the chakras fast. Because, see, the chakras are like staircases. That's part of the mystery school teaching. Whenever you hear stairways to anything, more than likely they're talking about the chakras. More than likely, but in quotes. Look at the Bible. Whenever you hear the staircase, somebody climbing, wink, wink. Remember that guy, Jacob's ladder? All that stuff is just hidden language for chakras. Yes, it's formidable. I recommend it. If that's what you're drawn to, I don't judge. Both are legitimate. Okay? Go towards it. So, yeah, it's true. And focus on the chakras. Again, I'm going to be doing courses on that. I'm going to be going through some collaboration with different people who are more organized than I am so that I can create courses because I'm good at this, but I'm not the most organized motherfucker on earth. So I'm going to collaborations, people who are more organized so that we can create all kinds of courses that can really make a big impact in people in a very practical way. And the first one is going to be the one coming up October 3rd, the online course on Tantra. I'm going to post it when it's about to come out. So hopefully a lot of people sign up. But I'm going to do a free one September 3rd, like an introduction to Tantra evening. Ryan, are you watching? It's my beloved brother, part-time engineer. So he's helping me with the structure of the whole thing. So I think the first one, we're collaborating on the course. So I think the first free evening is going to be September 3rd. And the course itself, I think it's going to begin October 3rd, if I'm correct. Otherwise, I'll let you guys, I'll keep you posted if there are any changes. Yeah, please yourself. You can learn your energy to please your partner. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. If you don't know your own body, how are you going to please somebody else? That's part of why I'm so against all these adults fucking with children. When a child is touching himself, leave the child alone. Because that's how you create a narcissist. When a child begins to get cut off from their own, what feels good. How do you learn to please somebody else? How do I know what you are going to like if I don't know my own body? That's where it starts. Hello? Simple arithmetic. When you cut a child off from their own bodily sense and pleasure, what it feels to feel, the good is what feels good. Hello? Am I Epicurean? Even though I am Epicurean, I'm a tantrist. I'm into pleasure. But to me, it's simple arithmetic. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it to somebody else. That's simple. But how do you learn what not to do to somebody else when you don't know what feels good? That's how these evil societies create evil. They cut people off from what feels good. They torture these children and people so that they become sadistic assholes. And then what it hurts is what they do to other people. Oh, guys, please don't envy this mother. Don't envy these people, please. Don't envy them. Because whatever you think they're doing to you or to other people, they've gone through almost as worse than that. That's the training for the psychopaths. Let's just call it a spade a spade. They are trained. They are also tortured. They go through some of these rituals you don't even want to imagine. That pain that they begin to think is awesome is what they want to spread around. Self-flagellation, torturing yourself, having sex with people but hurting them instead. All those shit, they've done it to each other. Then they want to spread it around the planet. That's why we can't allow them. The idea of what is good is not what we think is good. To us, what is good is what feels good. What feels good is what I trust. And what feels good for me will feel good for you because we are all human. This body is the same. We all got it from Mother Earth. If I pinch myself, and it's going to hurt. If I pinch you, I know not to pinch you. Unless you like that kind of stuff. That's it. If I pinch myself, and then I say, oh, don't do that. Or if I'm going to tell you first. I'm going to pinch you right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but you learn like that. But when you cut somebody off from that energy, you're going to create a psychopath who can distinguish between what is truth and what is a lie. Thank you, Pascal. I can see you enjoying this. I'm just speaking from my heart space. Thank you for loving this. So yes, if you don't know how to please yourself, you can't please anybody else. Simple. For women, is breathing in awe. Women actually are very fortunate, to be honest. And unfortunately, this stupid patriarchy, men, and for all women watching right now that will watch this video, I apologize. What women have done is so idiotic. We are so stupid in some ways. And I'm talking about the toxic masculinity. On behalf of every man who has ever done anything like that, including myself, I apologize because it's insane. Women are the natural tantrists. A woman is a natural tantrist. She just needs somebody who knows what he's doing too. That's all. Women naturally know it in their body. What's up, Sarah? Women know it. Because the heart and the vagina is still connected for some women. Unfortunately, a lot of women are disconnected too. Unfortunately, because of patriarchy, I said, no, don't trust your heart. That would just make you weak. No. Weakness is a closed heart. Somebody should make a posting of it and put it in their room. Weakness is a closed heart. An open heart can never be defeated. Even if they kill you, you've won. Because to me, okay, what do I mean by winning? To win in life is to say, I will never close my heart to anything, anybody. That is part of the lesson, the human lesson. People don't understand it. People think being human is just to have a Rolls Royce, enjoy life and dance, have sex. No. Part of being human is to learn that it's like a choice, but it has to be made on a soul level. When you say, I don't give a damn what you do to me. I don't care what anybody says. I may be angry at you. Yes, of course, we're human. I may be pissed off. I may not like you. I may even hate you. But I will never close my heart to you. The heart that's the secret. If you can keep your heart to your murderers, you have won. That's what happened to Christ on the cross. One of the alchemies that happened to Jesus on the cross was his heart never closed to those bastards. He never closed his heart. That is the triumph. To ask me as a mystic from my own experience, that's how I read it. I don't read it from anybody. It's just my own knowing. He won. He said, do what you may. I refuse to close my heart. He didn't say it with words. It's just something that happens the more awake one is. Your heart just flowers naturally. And once it flowers, it's flowering, it cannot close again. It can't. Anybody that tells you otherwise, they're lying or they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Your heart cannot unclose. Once it's open beyond a certain level, it just keeps opening more and more. That's it. That's why I always recommend the heart center for people in their evolution. Because there are many ways, many keys that I teach and share. Some people are not natural at it. But those who have the heart center, I'm like, take that course. Anybody who's done a session with me, they can admit, they can say yes to it. I always say it. Your heart, come to your heart. Because for me, once your heart is open, you cannot fall, in my view. And I say that with authority. People might say I'm being arrogant, but truth is truth. Once your heart is open, you may make mistakes. Like I make mistakes, whatever. I mean, we're human. But that love somehow will color it. Because your heart is open. That love, unconditional love, will color it. But if one's heart is not open, and one is just in the power mode, That's when people can fuck up. Because now you've had a taste of it. It's like a bone in a dog's mouth. So people that say, I would never do that, I'm like, wait. They're like, what do you mean by wait? I'm like, wait till you have the money and the power. Now you can talk shit. Because that's the test. That's the test. Can you be open? Can you remain so-called humble? I say so-called because humility, what does that mean? I actually don't like that word to be humble with, to be honest. What does it mean to be humble? It's been used so much by the controllers. Just be humble. And I'm always asking them, to who? To you? Get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to be humble to you. You're trying to use me. No. My knowing and understanding of humility means I'm open to existence and we are all one. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. That's humility. We are one. That's what else you want from me? You want me to sit in the corner and say, oh, it's just me? No, fuck you. I'm going to speak. Because people have been told in the name of spirituality, all this meekness nonsense. You know, like, oh, just be humble. That's not, somebody has their boot on your head. If you're shivering and you're doing work, people go to ashrams, spiritual ashrams, to go do some work, and they say they're doing selfless service, and I always laugh sometimes. I'm like, you can do that shit anywhere. It's beautiful to serve a realized master. Like, I've done it, and I'll probably still do it. I love it. But you have to do it from your soul and heart. Otherwise, you're just working. And guess what? You can do this anywhere. Whatever you do in presence, open heart, it's worship of the universe. That's it. It's that simple. And you can do it whether taking a shower, whether you're making love, even when you're washing dishes. Because people think, oh, if I'm washing my body, that's not selfless love. No, it's selfless love. Thank you, Pascal. Because the only times the universe existence can really participate in our human evolution and incarnation is when we're open-hearted, when we're present. If our heart is closed and we're not present, whatever we do is just reaction. True action requires presence, because action means you are acting from your soul. Action is always spontaneous, always. But reaction is always from the past or the future. You think somebody's going to do something to you, then you react. Preemptive strike, U.S. government likes to do. They call it Ministry of Defense. I'm like, bullshit. Ministry of Attack, you mean? Because that's preemptive strike. It's always fucked up. What if they don't do? What if somebody changes their mind but you've already killed everybody else? So I'm not for that. No, defense. I'm for defense. I'm not that too spiritual to be defensive. Because when back when Osho had an ashram and some people had guns, I'm not against that shit. People are like, but he's a teacher. I'm like, fuck that. It's living in the midst of crazy rednecks that I want to finish them off. No, get the biggest gun, but never fire in attack. That's what I'm against. No, but keep it. Why not? Some people are going to say, what kind of spirituality is that? I'm advocating gun. Come on, people. Let's keep it real. I'm not a member of the NRA. I don't have any gun, but I have friends that do. And you know what? I have nothing against them. Why not? As long as you have integrity, you're in truth, and you're well trained, and we're very selective of course, why not? Let's keep spirituality based on the topic. Can politics, spirituality, and sex go together? Yes, of course. As long as power is in the right hand, and who is the right person to get the power? In my view, and that's part of what I notice in the world today. Let me drink a little water. Thank you. That was so beautiful to drink that water. See, that was selfless service. People might say, is that me narcissistic? No. Let's just once and for all just speak the truth. Narcissism is the ego. When people post stuff and they say, I was living with a narcissist, I never understand it. I mean, what do you mean? Of course. What do you expect? Most humans are narcissistic. It's just, I'm not judging. It's just a fact. As long as one is in the ego, you are narcissistic. What does that mean? Because it's always about me, me, me. I'm not judging it. Nothing wrong with it. As long as one admits it to oneself, you're free. Just say it. My ego cares only about me. Admit it. In fact, as I share and as I teach and as I talk and I write and I talk, to me it's like right relationship. with it. Just admit it. My ego is all narcissistic. If somebody is not in their heart, they're going to be narcissistic. It's guaranteed. They may hide it from you. Or they may pretend, they may point finger, oh, somebody is so narcissistic. No, you are narcissistic probably. It's a shadow. Shadows attract each other. If somebody was to ask me the law of attraction, I would say sometimes shadows attract each other. Shadows. And they keep pointing at each other. No. And I'm not making fun of anybody. If I've been with narcissist, I mean, I have compassion for you, so much love, empathy. But what I'm saying, though, is